13,000 kilometers of cable run along the floor of the Atlantic Ocean. The cable starts somewhere in New Jersey and goes all along to a small village in Somerset, England. The cable contains strands of glass. Each one of the strand is almost the size of a human hair. It's very possible that this video you're watching has reached you through that cable. No, it's not owned by Amazon, Google, or Microsoft, or any other telecom company you would recognize. It's owned by a business that started in a small room in Bombay, India in the year of 1868 with a small amount of 21,000 rupees. And today, that company operates in more than 100 plus countries, has an annual revenue of $180 billion plus, and employs people more than Toyota, Coca-Cola, Amazon, Google combined. And most of the people have no idea that the cable is owned by them. Hello everyone, my name is Sabit and you're watching Sabit Explain. And today we look into one of the most successful business ventures or conglomerates of South Asia who has made a mark globally. This is the global empire of the Tata Group. Almost everything that Jamsetji Tata is famous for, he never lived to see them. He was 29, the son of a trader. In 1868, he took 21,000 rupee and started a trading company in Bombay, India. He bought a bankrupt oil mill, turned it into a cotton mill, then made a decision many contemporaries questioned. Instead of building his textile factory in Bombay, the center of India's cotton trade, he built it in Nagpur, 600 kilometers inland. Because Nagpur sat next to the cotton fields, next to a rail junction, next to water and fuel. Everyone else optimized for prestige. He optimized for logistics. The Empress Mills opened up in 1877 and made him rich. Then Jamsetji Tata stopped chasing the money. He created one Indian steel company, a world-class science institute, hydroelectric power, a hotel rival with anything in Europe. Only one happened in his lifetime. That's the Taj Hotel of India. The Taj Mahal Palace opened up in December 1903, among the first buildings in Bombay wired for electricity. Legends say that he built it after being refused entry to a hotel in his own city for being Indian. Historians debate about it. Jamsetji died in Germany in the year of 1904. He never saw the steel, he never saw the power station, he never saw the institute. His sons built all three anyway. In an account repeated for centuries in Tata's own archives, a senior British royal official promised to eat every pound of steel the Tatas managed to make. He should have skipped his lunches. Registered in 1907, funded largely by thousands of Indian investors at a time when Indians weren't supposed to own heavy industry. February 1912, the first ingot rolled out. Around that plant, they built a planned city from nothing. Sakchi, renamed Jamshedpur in 1919. Today, over 1 million people live there. 1912, Tata introduces the 8-hour working day. In Britain, 12 hours was still the legal standard. A company under colonial rule gave their employees 8 hours working day when Britain itself didn't give it. It was not a set standard by law. Jamsetji Tata and the Tata Group gave rights to their employees before the British could. The pattern repeats. The Indian Institute of Science, charitable trusts, funded from the family's own fortune, a cancer hospital. And in October 1932, J.R.D. Tata, the first Indian to hold a pilot's license, flew a single-engine plane from Karachi, modern-day Pakistan, to Bombay, modern-day India, carrying mail. The flight became Tata Airlines, which became Air India. By independence in 1947, large parts of India's industrial bases were functionally Tata, but it was still an Indian company that was about to change. In the year 2000, Tata went on to buy a tea company in Britain called Tetley. Tetley was founded in Yorkshire in 1837, older than Tata itself, and then the world's second largest tea company. It was described at the time as the largest takeover of a foreign company by an Indian firm. A former colony bought Britain's tea. That broke something psychological. In the year 2000, Tetley UK, 2004, Nat Steel Singapore, Daewoo CV of South Korea, and then in 2005, Brunner Bond of UK and Kenya, Millennium Steel in Thailand, and then in 2006 they acquired 8 O'Clock Coffee in US, Jemka Coffee in Czechia, and Jokels in South Africa. Then in 2007 they took over Chorus of UK and Netherlands, and then in 2008 they bought Jaguar Land Rover in UK. Over 8 years, Tata bought its way across 4 continents. Chorus was the big one, Anglo-Dutch, enormous, won in a bidding war at a price widely reported around £6.2 billion, roughly $12 billion. Then in 2008, Tata Motors bought Jaguar and Land Rover from Ford for $2.3 billion. 2 icons of British luxury bought by a company best known in India for making trucks. Ford had lost money on both the brands for years. The British press was skeptical. 16 years later, the SMMT was calling JLR or Jaguar Land Rover Britain's biggest automotive employer. Around 30,000 people in UK were employed by JLR through Tata. In the year to March 2025, it posted pre-tax profits of £2.5 billion, its best in a decade. Now, let's go on a world tour with Tata, and in the way of the world tour, we'll know how much they rank in each of the industry of that respective national market. Pack a bag, as we are gonna go on a world tour with the Tata Group. As of 2026, Tata's revenue annually is around $180+ billion, and they employ over 1 million people around the globe. Tata Group has 31 companies in total, out of which 26 are publicly listed. They have a market cap of $328 billion. They operate in 100+ countries, and the holding company of Tata is owned 66% by philanthropic trusts. First stop, the US. The Pierre, overlooking the Central Park, Tata operated. Taj, Campton Palace, San Francisco, also Tata. Your morning coffee might be 8 o'clock, a 160-year-old American brand Tata owned since 2006. According to Tata's Consumer Products, the 5th largest US coffee brand by volume, and beneath 55 square miles of Wyoming desert, Tata Chemicals mines trona for soda ash, the raw material used in your window glasses, detergent, and also water treatment. According to Tata Chemicals, the group is the world's 3rd largest soda ash producer. Next, Canada. Tata owns iron ore assets in Quebec and Labrador, and Tetley is Canada's #1 tea brand. Next, we go to South America. TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, runs delivery operations across Latin America, including countries Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, Peru, etc. And Jaguar Land Rover builds vehicles in Brazil. Next, we go into Africa. At Lake Magadi in Kenya's Rift Valley, a soda ash operation running since the year 1911. Tata Chemicals calls Magadi Africa's largest soda ash manufacturer, over 95% exported. Next, we go from Cape Town to Kruger to Lusaka. Taj Cape Town, Taj Bush Lodge in Greater Kruger, Taj Pemodzi in Lusaka, and in South African supermarkets Jokels Tea. Tata took a minority stake in 2006 and holds 75% today. Next, we go to United Kingdom. Tata owns Jaguar Land Rover, which is Britain's biggest automotive employer according to SMMT. Tetley, one of Britain's best known tea brands. Tata Steel UK, Port Talbot, moving to electric arc furnace. Tata Chemicals Europe, the UK's only soda ash producer. British Salt, the UK's leading salt manufacturer. Sit with the last one. In 1930, Gandhi marched in India against the British Salt Company, and today an Indian company owns that very organization. And a short walk from Buckingham Palace, Tata runs 51 Buckingham Gate and the St. James Court Hotel. Next, we go towards Netherlands, the one nobody expects. Tata Steel's IJmuiden plant is the largest of its European operations, around 7 million tons a year. Tata has been directly responsible for creating 11,000 jobs and total supported 86,000 jobs. Dutch industrial output around 6% and contributes around 0.5% of the Dutch GDP. By Tata Steel Netherlands' own accounting, an Indian company sits behind roughly 1 in every 200 euros of Dutch economic output. Across the whole of Europe, Tata owns tea brands most Indians have never heard of. Vitax in Poland, Jemka in Czech Republic, and in June 2026, the Taj Hotel brand opened its first German hotel in Frankfurt. Next, we go into the Middle East. Taj Dubai, Taj Exotica in the Palm, and the air conditioning inside the tallest building on the earth, executed by Voltas, a Tata company. In Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, TCS runs an all-women IT services center. Next, we go into Asia Pacific. South Korea, Tata Daewoo Mobility, country's second largest heavy commercial vehicle manufacturer. Next, Thailand, Tata Steel, a major long products producer. Tata. Next, Australia and New Zealand, TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, with major banking and telecom clients. China, TCS, delivery centers, and a Jaguar Land Rover assembly venture. Next, we go to Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, Nitol Motors became Tata Motors distributor in 1988, and by 1991 was assembling Tata trucks and buses inside the country. Not importing, assembling. But the bigger Bangladesh story is the one that actually never happened. Tata proposed in mid-2000s a 2.4 million ton steel plant with 1 million ton fertilizer factory and also 1000 MW gas-fired power plant with a 500 MW coal-fired power plant with a total of $3 billion. Among the largest single foreign investment proposals the country had ever received, but it was never built. Negotiations dragged for years, stalling largely over guarantees on gas supply and prices, and the plan was shelved. Tata took that capital elsewhere. Now let's look at the rest of the South Asia. Taj Resorts in the Maldives and Sri Lanka, telecom industry in Nepal and Sri Lanka, and in Bhutan. Tata Power has been part of the Dagachu hydropower project, and the last stop isn't a country at all. Remember that cable from the start of this video? It has a name. It's called TGN Atlantic. Tata bought it in 2005 along with an entire global undersea network for $130 million. It's one of many. Tata Communications operates what it describes as the world's largest wholly owned undersea fiber network, over 500,000 kilometers of subsea cable. In 2012, it completed the first fully owned fiber ring circling the entire planet. According to Tata Communications, this cable of theirs supply 30% of world's internet, which go through countries which are major contributors of global GDP. According to statistics, 99.7% of global GDPs are touched by this cable. An Indian company quietly bought a piece of the plumbing the modern world runs on, and nobody made a fuss. Next, we go to the home country of Tata. In India, TCS, India's largest IT company. Number 2 IT services brand globally. Tata Motors, India's number 1 commercial vehicle maker, around 37%. Tata Power, India's largest integrated power company. Taj, world's strongest luxury hotel brand 2026. Titan, world's 5th largest own brand watch manufacturer company. Tanishq, India's largest jewelry retailer. And those two last companies I mentioned, they have an interesting founding story that nobody talks about. In the year 2000, an Indian engineer excited to go to the world's biggest watch fair goes in with something that was never built before, comes out humiliated. In 1984, Tata launched a watch company with the Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation. Driving it, a Tata executive named Xerxes Desai. India's watch market was grim. Limited choice, plain mechanical designs. If you wanted a good watch, you wanted a smuggled foreign one. Desai wanted to build a world-class watch in India. He hit a wall immediately. The hard part of a watch isn't the case, it's the movement. And only a handful of integrated watchmakers on earth had that know-how. The Swiss watchmakers were unwilling to share their technical know-how. They wouldn't teach an Indian company how to build a watch. Titan almost didn't survive it, and according to Xerxes Desai, one man refused to let it die. And I quote, "There was one man who thought that the effort should not be slackened. That was J.R.D. Tata." They found a French partner instead. Production began at Hosur in 1987. Titan launched India's first quartz watches with international styling, and Indians had been waiting for exactly that. Now, the year 2000. 3 years later, Titan engineers had pitched Desai something audacious. The slimmest watch movement in the world, thinner than a credit card. 1.5 millimeters including the battery. By the year 2000, it worked. The plan was to sell it to the Swiss. By Tata's own account, the Swiss refused outright to buy an Indian watch movement. A representative of one famous brand told the engineer to his face that an Indian-made movement would dilute their brand image. He walked out of that room crestfallen. So Desai decided if the Swiss wouldn't buy the movement, Titan would build the watch itself. And that became the Titan Edge, an ultra-slim Indian watch built on technology that the Swiss said would embarrass them. Today, Titan says it's the world's 5th largest own brand watch manufacturer. But watches aren't even the biggest part of the company anymore. In 1994, Titan launched a jewelry brand called Tanishq. It nearly died. The logic seemed sound: 18-karat gold, European designs, harder wearing, cheaper. They'd misread the country complete. Because in India, gold isn't an accessory, it's an asset, something you pass down. And the standard people trusted was 21 karat. From 1996 to 2000, Tanishq had a cumulative loss exceeding 150 crore. Shutting Tanishq down was seriously discussed. Then the fix. Tanishq imported a German machine called a carat meter, roughly 10 lakh rupees each. That used X-rays to test gold purity in seconds without damaging it, and offered to test anyone's jewelry for free. An NCAER survey found roughly 44% of jewelries sold in India was 18 karat or lower, against a 22 karat standard. Reports suggest around 60% of jewelry tested at Tanishq came back less pure than promised. So people queued up, and they were shocked. But here's the part most retelling skips. Footfall went up, sales didn't. Because Tanishq had shown millions of people they had been cheated without giving them a proper way out. All they had done was make customers feel bad. So they added a small tagline: impure to pure. Bring in your impure gold and get a 22 karat gold just by paying the making charges. That was the turn. Tanishq is now India's largest jewelry retailer. A watch company told Tata that they can't make watches, and a jewelry company that insulted customers. Both nearly done. But today, both those companies, Tanishq and Titan, are one of the 2 most valuable consumer brands of South Asia. In 1953, the Indian government nationalized Air India, taking the airline J.R.D. Tata founded away from the family. 69 years later, they bought it back. On 27 January 2022, Air India returns to Tata. They ordered 470 plus aircrafts, reported value of $70 plus billion. Vistara merged in November 2024. Singapore Airlines 25.1%. 4 airlines folded into 2. At the merger, around 3,000 aircrafts and over 8,000 flights a week. But an empire this size doesn't get to be flawless, and the last 2 years have tested it hard. On the 1st of September 2025, Jaguar Land Rover halted production after a cyber incident took place. 5 weeks, a company building around 1,000 vehicles a day made nothing at all. British car production that month went down by 27%. The UK's economic impact around £1.9 billion. The organization had been affected with 5,000 plus jobs under threat. UK government gave a loan guarantee of £1.5 billion. The Cyber Monitoring Centre called it the most economically damaging cyber event in British history. The Bank of England cited the shutdown as a factor behind weaker UK growth. And when JLR reported its year to March 2026, the damage was fully visible. Revenue went down almost 21%. The pre-tax profit of Tata in JLR was £2,500 million. But in 2026 financial year, that went down over 99%, with a full year loss after tax of £244 million. Tariffs and the Jaguar wind down played a part, but the shutdown was central. Then steel. Tata Steel decommissioned its UK blast furnaces in 2024 and moved to electric arc steel making. Lower emissions, far fewer jobs for workers. Then October 2024, Ratan Tata died, aged 86. The man who ran the company from 1991 to 2012 and authorized Tetley, Chorus and JLR acquisitions had passed away. His half-brother Noel Tata was appointed the chairman of the Tata Trust days later. Now there's a question that many economic analysts and business individuals have repeatedly said in public. Should Tata Company overall be listed as a publicly listed company? India's central bank classified Tata Sons as a systemically significant financial entity in 2022, which would normally trigger a listing. Tata Sons has sought deregistration instead. Its second largest shareholder wants a listing. Tata Trusts hold 66%, has opposed it. As of mid-2026, regulators haven't publicly settled it. The most valuable business group of India remains at the top, private. For 150 years, Tata has bet its money in steel, power, internet, and also transportation. But what holds their next bet in the next 150 years? That will be chips. You got it right, AI chips. Tata Electronics is building India's first commercial large-scale semiconductor factory in Dholera with Taiwan's power chip. Over 91,000 crore investment with a target of 50,000 wafers per month, with assembly and testing carrying out in Jaggi Road, Assam, with a 27,000 crore investment planned. In May 2026, Tata signed a partnership agreement with the large ASML. If that succeeds, it could significantly reduce India's dependence on imported semiconductors, although India will still import many of the most advanced chips. The other one would be batteries. Agratas is building a 40 gigawatt hour gigafactory in Somerset, a few kilometers up the coast from where that Atlantic cable comes ashore, plus 20 gigawatt hours in Gujarat, combined roughly enough cells for 1 million EVs a year. And also trucks. In July 2025, Tata Motors agreed to acquire Iveco for about 3.8 billion euros. This has not been closed yet. This is a tender offer expected to sometime around September 26 to be completed, or around November of this year. If it completes, it's Tata's largest automotive acquisition ever, bigger than Jaguar Land Rover. Steel to silicon, everything in one lifetime of a company. That is just insane. Most global conglomerates are either family owned, either publicly listed, or either owned by the states. But Tata Sons is 66% owned by philanthropic trusts. Every dividend that comes out of JLR, every money that is made on the power and soda ash companies of Tata, a big percentage of those profits annually from Tata Group goes to building hospitals, charitable organizations, different societal works, and also supporting the underprivileged. That is genuinely unusual for a big conglomerate of that size to do. But it is deliberate. It has been the deliberate effort of the Tata family to always give to the society, to always provide to the people of the world. But when a company becomes this big of a size, its decision making is not just a simple decision made by a business. It sounds more like a policy change that affects a huge part of the world economy. Like, for example, the cyber attack that took place in JLR. The central bank had to be involved. It was a major part of the discussion in UK's parliament. So it tells you it's not a simple thing that a small decision change by Tata doesn't impact millions. We usually tell these kind of business stories as the country of India is catching up to the West. But this one is a bit reverse. The world is being connected by Tata. These kind of stories of Indian companies are usually shown that India is catching up to the West. But somewhere along the line, this relationship completely reversed, and most of us never noticed. The Tata Empire didn't just announce itself around the world. Through time, the company itself became the floor that the entire world stands on. If this changes about how you look into the business world or changes a little bit about your perspective on the business empires around the world, then we're happy to give you this new information. And as always, my name is Sabit, and you've been watching Sabit Explains. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe below, and share it with your business friends. And as always, if you enjoy these kind of content, please comment down below which other South Asian big business should we feature in our channel. The objective of this channel is to give you as much insight, as much information about South Asia as possible, as South Asia hosts over 2 billion people, but their stories don't get that much of highlight. And that is the purpose of this channel. I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.